Come on in, welcome to my home. Today is the day I want you to start asking yourself, why? There are so many questions and so many things you're going to have to ask yourself why on that you need to start early. Because when it comes to home economics, you need to ask yourself, why? Why are some things the way that they are, and why are other things the way that they aren't? I mean, it can be confusing. I mean, if I tell you that I had a bowl of cereal for dinner, a lot of people will look at that and say,
cereal for dinner? That's ridiculous. That's horrible.
However, if I tell you I have a bowl of cereal for breakfast, people are going,
cereal? Well, that's fine. It is breakfast.
But why? It's not like the nutritional value of the bowl of cereal has changed. None of that has changed. If I had a full breakfast with orange juice, fruit, bowl of cereal, coffee, it didn't change if I had the same thing for dinner. But people are fine with that. They're fine with me having it for breakfast, but they're not fine with me having it for dinner. I mean, honestly, the big resounding question really is why? Like, why are half the things that we do half the things that we do? Why do we decide that we have to get up at a certain time and go to bed at a certain time? Part of that has some flat-out easy answers. You get up at a certain time so you can make it to work at a certain time. You go to bed at a certain time so that you can then, get enough hours of sleep. But other things don't have easy answers, especially when it comes to arranging your house, how you put things, where you put things, and when you do things. Those things don't have easy answers. So, yeah. Why? Spring cleaning is one of the easy ones. Spring cleaning is one of those ones where we ask ourselves, well, why do I clean in the spring? Why don't I clean in the fall? And, well, it's up to you. It really is. You can do both. You can do neither. You need to clean your house one time a year. Okay, cool. But does that time of the year really work out for you? One of the things that people find out about spring cleaning is if you clean in the spring, you can get the windows open, the air flowing through the house, and it just makes your house feel cleaner because there's new air coming in. Is your house any cleaner if you clean it in the spring and in the fall? Well, no. No, it's just the fact that it makes it feel better. It makes it feel like you're doing something cleaner and better for your environment and better for yourself and better for your house, just simply because, well, everything smells fresh because the windows are open. But you can also clean in the winter. You can clean any time of the year. Just clean everything all at once and it's okay. The why part of it is we clean it so that it becomes clean, not the when part of it. You clean it so it becomes clean for when you need it to be clean. If you know that you have the big event coming up, that might be the perfect time to do the big, huge cleaning, so that way it's clean for the big, huge event. Or it might be the perfect time to do it after the big, huge event. You have to decide. It's the why. So the old joke goes as this. A husband watches his wife prepare the Thanksgiving turkey, and she cuts off one of the legs and puts it into the roaster, and he asks why. And she says, well, that's the way my mom always did it. To which he asked, why? And she said, well, I don't know. Let me ask her. So the wife goes and asks the mother why she always did that. And she said, well, because that's the way that my mother did it. Okay, cool. But the wife then goes to ask the grandmother. She says, Grandma, why did you always cut the leg off the turkey? And the grandmother says simply, because my pan was too small to roast the turkey leg that way. Or to roast the turkey that way. The problem is, quickly, everybody adapted this way of doing things without questioning why. And then once they figured out the why, they realized that they didn't need to do it that way. Part of what we do with the way we run our houses and everything, we don't question any of these things. We don't question where things are, why they are there, how we put them away, because it's the way things have always been done. Now, some things are done out of necessity. My spice rack, which I can't put there, my spice rack here, which I have all of my cooking spices and those sort of things. The reason it's there is because, well, that's the only place I can put it. I have no other place big enough in the kitchen where I can put it, because this isn't necessarily where I cook from. It's just where it fits. It's a necessity, because other places where I'd rather have it, I can't put it there. Now, most of the time when I'm cooking by myself, I'm here. This is where I am most of the time. I have enough space, I have enough counter space, and this would be a really great place to put my spices. But as you can see, it's really small, so I can't put them there. Necessity. Not tradition, necessity. So that's one of the reasons where I can say, this is why I do something. If you have a why behind what you're doing, it makes it easier. It also makes it easier for other people to understand it, and it makes it easier for you to adapt it if you need to. Because once you have your why, you can go forward with that. But can your why change? Oh, yeah. I mean, one day I might have so few spices that this would actually be a great spot for my spices to work. Right now, it's not. A lot of people do their housework over the weekend. Do I recommend that? No. No, I don't. Why? Because it's really good for you to have enough time to relax and enjoy yourself. However, you might not have enough time to do it during the week. It might just be, prohibitive to actually even consider doing your housework during the week. So you have no other choice but to do it during the weekend. And I understand that. I'm totally behind that. Because if it works for you, it works for you. That's when I ask myself a lot of these questions, especially with these new things that I'm seeing about, is your house dirty? Does it need clean? Well, try our new Fast in a Can Cleaner. Fast in a Can Cleaner is so that you can use it to fast and also clean. It's 100% H2O, and you can use it on your dishes, on your walls, on your sink, wherever you can use H2O. Fast in a Can will help you clean your house just perfect. The way to do it is, don't eat anything for 24 hours, turn your temperature up to 97, and then clean for the next 72 hours. Fast in a Can will get your house sparkling clean. Ask yourself why. Why are they saying it? Because a lot of times they're just saying it so they can get you to buy a new product. Because maybe you shouldn't be doing that. Because if the way you do it works, then the way that you do it works. There is nothing wrong as long as you're not hurting yourself or somebody else, and it's efficient, go for it. Get it done the way that you can get it done. You don't have to change it if you don't want to. Now, if you're looking for something new to change it to, go for it. Try something different. But ask yourself, why? A lot of times our reason why really does come down to just convenience, necessity, or even worse, just tradition. Some of the things you just have to do that way. There are some things that just literally have to be done like that because that is the only way to get them done. Other things are done the way that they are because it is convenient. And then other things that are done because it's necessary. The two ones to look at is when you're looking at your why. If you're just doing it because it's convenient, is it actually getting the job done? Or if you're doing it because it's tradition, is it actually getting the job done? Or better yet, is there a better way to do that? Those are the two you really want to look at. Because if you're looking at it for just a convenience sake, it might just be, convenient, but not actually doing what you really need it to do. So that's when I always stop and say, okay, I'm doing this because it has to be done this way. There really isn't a better way, so I can leave it that way. But if I find I'm doing it just simply because, well, it's tradition, then I'll question it. Then I'll ask more into the whole, well, why is it tradition? Why do we do it this way? One of the things which I've always found really strange was Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is one of those holidays where if you prepare Thanksgiving dinner, it can be a rush. It can be a mad rush because you get off work on Wednesday at if you're lucky, 5, hopefully, and then you have to try to get dinner all done between 5 o'clock on Wednesday and whatever time on Thursday. Well, okay. I've always wondered that because, in the days of when we had people who their whole duty was to stay at home, that was great because then they could start all week and work all week on these dinners and those sort of things. But now that we don't, yeah. It was always like the banking thing. Why were banks open during the hours that people worked? And then when people were off work, the people who'd actually be depositing money into the bank or need to go to the bank, they were closed. Now that a lot of that has changed, they now have better hours and you can do online banking, but a lot of that is the why. Because we found ourselves going, hey, this doesn't work for the people who actually need to use that service. So if people can do that with a service, you can do that with your house. Does your TV work where it is, or should it be someplace else? And just because everybody's like, well, you have to have a dining room, and it has to be set up that way, but if it's a room that you only use like twice a year, maybe there's a better way to set it up. Maybe all you have to do is move the stuff that would normally be in your dining room, which could be an office, craft room, whatever kind of room, move that twice a year and use it as a dining room, but the other times of the year, you can use it as whatever you want. It opens up the possibilities for so many different things when you start questioning, well, why am I doing this? Does this really work? Is it necessarily what needs to happen, or is there a better way to do this? And as I said before, if you find something that really truly works for you, it fulfills the whole this is how this needs to be done to get it done, do that. Don't feel bad about doing that. And some of the things which I think which is interesting is that commercial where I showed you the whole house getting cleaned using water. Some of the things which they're going to do is they're going to trick you on the whole commercial. If you look closely back at that one, you'll notice that the lights change significantly, the clothes change, everything changes, because that way it makes it look cleaner and brighter. But is it? Who knows? If you want to have cereal for dinner, that's fine. It's the same cereal that you were having for breakfast, and it still has the same nutritional value. So yeah. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know down in the comments what you thought about that, and I hope I get to see you the next time you stop by.